This video will be a demonstration of person-centered therapy and cognitive behavior therapy. This scenario will feature a mental health nurse counseling a University of Saskatchewan student who's been struggling with substance use to cope with stress related to attending university and has disclosed this to the mental health nurse. This topic is important to nursing practice as all areas of nursing deal with interventions targeted toward mental health and improving coping mechanisms. It is the nurse's responsibility to work with an individual's mental health regardless of their reason for seeking care and provide an environment that is non-judgmental and conducive to healing. We will be demonstrating cognitive behavioral therapy and person-centered therapy together as they are both rooted in humanism, existentialism, and phenomenology. They both focus on authenticity and the intrinsic worth of all people. Casemore and Tudway explain that CBT and PCT build on one another well, as CBT is a helpful tool to guide the process of PCT, which is a way of being that is in itself therapeutic. Several resources show that CBT is an effective counseling technique specifically for students and stress related to academics. The research conducted by Gonzalez and his research partners shows that CBT enhances the future coping of clients by focusing on problem solving. Additionally, CBT is helpful specifically when working with clients who struggle with addictions. Bowen et al. Put forth that CBT's focus on the person rather than the problem teaches clients a more advantageous way of acknowledging and responding to their internal experiences. CBT is based on acceptance, mindfulness, and values, which are critical concepts when considering behavioral changes and developing awareness of the present moment. PCT is useful in this situation, as Davis et al. Highlighted in their research. It allows the interviewer to be adaptive to the needs of the client and to create a comprehensive framework that discovers the root of the issue. Additionally, this is an inclusive approach that encompasses compassionate care and making sure that the client is involved in the decision-making process. Holt et al. Add that PCT can be effective for groups at risk for having drinking tendencies, such as the population of college students, which is represented by the client in this video. PCT allows clients to become more aware of their internal environment, including their mood and expectations, as well as their drinking patterns and the pressures that lead them toward substance abuse. The awareness of these factors in turn helps the client to establish healthier patterns.
Hi, my name is Haley. I'm a mental health nurse. What's your name?
Janie.
Janie, and how are you, Janie?
I'm okay.
All right. I'm excited to talk to you, but before we do so, I just want to remind you of our confidentiality agreement. So that looks like everything you say to me today is confidential, except if you disclose wanting to hurt yourself or others, I will have to tell someone to get you the help that's required. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
So how's your semester been going?
It's just been super busy.
Yeah, fall can be pretty busy, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so is there anything that specifically brings you in today?
I'm just feeling overwhelmed and stressed with school, and I feel like I can't cope with the demands of my classes, and so I've become more dependent on alcohol and partying. What started as social drinking has turned into drinking by myself.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing, and it's really brave of you to come and sit down with me to talk today. Would you be able to elaborate a little bit more on what this stress looks like, maybe how you're coping?
Yeah. Well, usually every evening after I've tried to study for a bit, I get overwhelmed and I'll have what started as just a cup of wine or alcohol has now turned into multiple a night, and I'll do this to kind of numb some of the pain and the stress that I'm feeling.
So you're numbing stress in your life?
I am, yes.
And would you be willing to elaborate a little bit on the stress that you're experiencing?
Yeah, just with school, midterms, projects, it's a lot to handle. I need alcohol as the only way to cope.
So is it just academic stress, or is there other factors in your life right now?
I'm away from home for the first time.
All right, so is this level of stress and using alcohol to cope something that's new to you?
I've had stresses like this in the past, but I haven't had the same dependency on alcohol.
Can you tell me a little bit about your past stresses?
Exams and school. My parents have always wanted me to do well, and they have high expectations.
Yeah, so, and you had said you have not turned to alcohol to cope before?
No, not really. I would talk with my parents, my friends.
So it sounds like you had a really good social support system back home.
I did, yeah.
Yes, and then you mentioned moving out of your hometown. You're living here in Saskatoon now. How has your social life changed?
It's been hard to meet people, make friends. I feel like I'm new. I don't know anyone.
Do you feel like you have anybody here in the city you can talk to?
No, I don't.
No. So would you agree that there's a bit of social stress in your life along with the academics?
Yeah, I think so. And I think sometimes it's nice to drink with others.
Yes, so when you do drink, and you said that sometimes you black out because of it, do you feel that this is a productive way to cope with your stress?
Probably not. I wake up and then I feel shame and more stress about, oh, I should have been studying and now here I am behind again.
Yeah, I can definitely see the frustration, but the cycle that you're a little bit stuck in right now. We're just jumping back in the conversation a little bit. Can you elaborate on your social and coping mechanisms back in high school?
Yeah, well, I like to exercise, go for walks, talk with my parents, my friends, and that always helped.
Yeah, and have you been able to implement any of these since moving into the city?
Initially I was, and then school started piling up and it was too hard.
Yeah, I definitely think you're on the right track to acknowledging some of these really hard feelings and some of the things that are missing in your life. This sounds like a really hard situation as your life is very, very full right now, which might be causing some of your stress. Would you agree?
Yes.
So out of this situation, what would your ideal outcome be?
I just want to be able to not be dependent on alcohol.
All right, I think that's a really good goal to start with. And would you be willing to try an activity with me today?
Yeah.
All right, so this is called the ABCDE model. So we're gonna work through all of those letters and maybe come to a better conclusion at the end. So I'm gonna start by, from what you've told me, look at A and C, and you're gonna tell me beliefs at the end, okay?
Okay.
So your adversity or difficulty in life is the amount of stress you're having, and the consequence is you're coping with that stress with alcohol. So what belief is leading you from stress to using alcohol?
That the only way to get through school is using alcohol.
All right, so do you believe that this is the only way, this use of alcohol, that's maybe causing shame in your life, or do you believe there could be other options possible?
I think there could be, yeah.
Awesome. I think that's a really great recognition to have. A little bit earlier today, you were mentioning some strong coping mechanisms you had in the past, maybe in high school. Would you be able to reflect on those and look at a few that could be helpful now?
I think talking with my parents, more going for walks in nature, be good.
Yeah. So do you believe by implementing these new coping strategies that it would be more effective than alcohol?
I think it would be, yeah.
Awesome. And I know how busy your schedule is already from what you have told me. So would you be willing to maybe set some practical goals so they're more likely to be implemented this week?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. So to start, would you rather work on maybe phoning your family or going for a walk?
Phoning my family.
All right. So is there any time in your schedule right now that you could set aside 30 minutes, an hour, that would work for both you and your family?
I could do Sunday afternoon.
All right. And very roughly, how long do you feel comfortable setting aside?
Maybe about 45 minutes.
All right. And that feels reasonable to you?
I think I could do that, yeah.
All right, let's start there. I don't want to overwhelm your schedule more than we have to. We are coming to the end of our session here. So I just want to summarize what we did today, what we worked through. So you came in mentioning how stressed you were about just life in general and that you were using alcohol to cope. And as we talked, I got to know a little bit more about how much is on your plate, that you have stress in your academic life, your personal life, your social life, and in your emotional life, which is leading to you using substances more than you are comfortable with at this time. So from that, we worked through a model, and then we set a goal together and got to work through an exercise to make that goal feel more attainable, where I got to learn about your strengths, that you have had a strong coping mechanism before. You seem highly motivated to want to change, and you're doing really well to recognize the problem and to come and seek the support that you need to help fix that problem. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. Thanks.
All right, so we do have another session set up next week if you still want to continue with this.
I would, yeah.
All right, so what I'm thinking is you implement this phone call, you try it out. Next week we'll discuss it. If it worked, if it didn't work, no pressure either way. If it did work and you're willing to take on something else, I would love to explore maybe implementing some walks in your week. As you had mentioned earlier, that's something you are really enjoying in your past.
Yeah, I'm really excited to try this new strategy. Thank you.
And are you having any nerves, fear about phoning your family, or are you quite comfortable?
I'm pretty comfortable.
All right, I'm glad to hear it, that I'm leaving you on a strong note. Thank you so much for coming in and showing your bravery about speaking up about this issue, although you were feeling some shame about it, and I hope that that is something you don't have to feel anymore.
Yeah.
So I also look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope this all goes well.
Yes. Thank you so much, Haley.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this demonstration of person-centered therapy and cognitive behavior therapy. During the process of making this video, we learned the importance of exploring the client's story in depth and allowing the client to recognize their own strengths and opportunities for growth. We learned about the value of creating a specific plan of action that is attainable for the client while still working toward their overall goal. As we reflect on this interview, as students, we would like to improve our use of therapeutic silence. We could also improve on checking the client's understanding by allowing them to restate the content of the interview and plan of action. The techniques and theories demonstrated in this video are applicable to many practice areas, as nurses encounter patients with various forms of stress and ineffective coping every day. Skills such as emphasizing strengths, active listening, and summarizing are extremely versatile and will help our clients work toward mental well-being no matter the setting. Gonzalez and his resource, as David et al. Highlighted in their research. It's Davis.
What is your name? I am a mental health nurse with the...
I feel the need to use alcohol.
Pause. Like, what kind of stress? Could you elaborate on that for me?
Yeah, I just feel like I have so many midterms right now.
Sorry.
And yes.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Go. The techniques and theories demonstrated in this video